In this breed identification video, what we're looking at right now is our Dorset. So we've got a couple of down breeds here. Don't want to overcomplicate it, but just want to show you the difference really between our short looking Dorset wool, and then we have beside it we have our Suffolk. So Suffolk is in 12 months growth will grow longer. So you can see here the length there. That one's got quite a bit of canary yellow in it. And then I've got another sample here. And then of course you can see the Kemp fibre present. Okay, so the black Suffolk or a white-faced Suffolk. Coming back to our Dorset. Now the lack of crimp definition is an indication that all the fibres, they're not aligned and they're all sort of independently sitting in a staple, creating this big fuzz. Part of the big fuzz is the resistance to compression, so lots of bulk. So you can think about what the end product for this, doona inners. The doona inner keeps you warm because your body heat heats the air between the wool fibres. So the wool fibres trap the air, your body heat heats the air and then creates a warm air layer keeping you warm. So in fact it's yourself keeping yourself warm. Another thing with these is a big difference between staple length. So this is what we call staple length, and then we have fibre length. I can't demonstrate it here holding the camera at the moment, but just let me show you that if I can't quite do it, but if you come into class next, you just grab a couple of fibres from here, and if you gently stretch them out, those fibres would be double the length of the staple. That's because those crimps, the fibre, the spiral action of the crimp. So as opposed to that last English Leicester breed that I showed you, it was very, very flat. It had zero bulk. This one's got heaps of bulk, and each individual fibre is like a corkscrew. So it's like a spring. And that's why crimp definition is hard to pick. These ones have it as well, but you might see in a Suffolk a hint of crimp every now and then. Just spy some, if you can just look on here, there's a little bit of crimp showing there. Okay, so bulky, but probably just a step down from the bulk that we could get out of a Dorset. This wool as well would be great for doona inners and also blend. So you blend it with something warm and soft to create maybe hand knitting yarn. Just a small portion because you don't want these little nasties, the little Kemp fibres coming through out onto the skin. Okay, last set of breeds I've got here are shedding type breeds with medullated fibre. I've got a couple of shedding breeds here. I've got these Dorper, 2 Dorpers here, and I've got some Awazi wool, and then I've got a carpet breed. So the first one's here, we're looking at Dorper. So have you ever noticed out in the paddock where you see Dorpers and they've shedded, but there's still like a back strap? They haven't 100% shedded. That's because they've been crossed and they're not a full cross, which we need to cross back 4 times to get them completely shedding. So this one here is showing you where part of the fleece has got more predominant shedding fibre. And then this part, can you see this almost normal wool with the shedding Kemp fibres? So this is where maybe it's a first cross or second cross, and it's still showing characteristics of both the breeds that make up the cross. More likely a merino. This one though is more of a full shedder. You can see that 100% we have Kemp fibre that will shed. So this one doesn't seem to have any normal fibre in it at all. Okay, now this one here is exotic. I haven't taken it out of the bag because there's a lot of pigmented fibre in here. And you can see though that we've got, not only have we got the Kemp fibre issues, we've got the pigmented fibre. Okay, so when you're classing, always make sure these ones here come through the shed last. Don't want this swirling around in the shed with the wind while you've got your other merino wool or other breeds going. Okay, this one here is a little bit different. This is the Drysdale, very similar to a Carpet Master, or there's a few other breeds, so have a look in your breed book. So the Drysdale was bred specifically for carpet. Now in any 12-month growth, it will grow roughly about 12 inches. That's about, that plastic bag's about 10. So think of a foot long sub. That's what these guys would grow in any 12 months. So to manage that, they used to be shorn 2 or 3 times a year. You can see this one here is about 5 inches long, so maybe second shearing for the year. Now these show almost 100% medullated. They're not shedding though, so they need shearing, but you can see the really, really broad, opaque white looking or chalky white looking fibres. Now, one thing we talk about in your learning materials is that every breeder sheep grows 2 types of wool fibres out of the skin. We have the primary, which is produced when the lamb is born. It has a coat of primary fibres. Now in the Drysdale, the difference between the primaries and the secondaries are really quite exaggerated. So I'll show you over here. So this is a normal staple, and see how the base of the staple is quite thick? That's indicating that there's more fibres here than there are at the tip. So what I've done is I've separated them. I've hung on, I've pulled this here and hung on to the base, and I've extracted the longer primary fibres from the secondaries, which are shorter and finer. So I hope you can get a good look at that. Just trying to show it down there. See how short they are? And they, even though they still look coarse, they are so much finer than this hair, which looks like horse hair. Okay, so that's just showing you that, but in its natural state in the staple, this wool was still is used for carpet wool. Not 100%, so to make a successful carpet yarn, we need this. We need a bit of that bulky, spongy wool, and we need a bit of that sort of tough, longer, stronger, tensile strength wool to make a blend for carpet wool, because as we know, these medullated fibres, even though they're quite broad, they have hardly any tensile strength or the hollow centre. Okay, so hopefully that's given you a bit of a snapshot of different breeds, where they go, what end products they're made, and identifying them. Thank you.